Okay, it's officially been over a year since the PlayStation Portal graced our shelves, and as someone that owns one, we're going to get down to it. Is it worth it to own one? But before all that, we have to do the shameless channel introductions. Hello, my name is Argonaut, and thanks so much for joining me here. We're all about games here, mainly PlayStation and sci-fi stuff. If you like this video and want to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Now, moving back to the PlayStation Portal, it was originally released back in November 15th of 2023, and is a glorified second screen for your PS5. Essentially, doing what the Switch does, but worse, since it only uses Wi-Fi. Now, here were my biggest gripes with it when I first got it. First off, whenever you'd put it on the charger, it would essentially force the portal to turn back on and keep the screen on instead of just, I don't know, showing a charge percentage number on the screen if you tap the power button. Another issue I had with it, speaking of the battery charge percentage, is that it didn't show the battery percentage in numbers. You'd only have a picture of the battery icon to go by. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that prefers knowing what the exact charge is on their console. To me, it was honestly pretty weird that they didn't have this to begin with. But besides this, I personally didn't really have any issues with the console. Yes, I know it's not a real console, when it came out. Although, I know a big complaint for some people was that if they went to a hotel room with it or anywhere that needed a two-factor authentication, the console couldn't do it. And I know for some people that was a problem. Oh, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but the Portal also has an airplane mode, which, by far, has to be the most useless thing I've seen since Fushigi. I mean, the thing only works on Wi-Fi, so if you're not able to use Wi-Fi, then what's the point of it even being on? But all of this is how it was when it first came out. But since then, it's had a few updates. Now, it has the ability to do two-factor authentication, so if you go to a hotel room and if you have your Portal with you, you'll have the ability, depending on the internet, to play your PS5 from afar. You just have to check the authentication on your phone. And also, when you put it on charge, it no longer forces the Portal on anymore, but you can see the battery charge by simply tapping the power button, which should have been there from the start. And speaking of the charge, with the charge icon, because of the new updates, you can actually see the battery percentage in numbers and not just a picture of the battery. Another update that I personally noticed that was a bit stealth-dropped is that they turned down the volume of the console on the low end. So, because before, even when the console was on low volume and it's late at night, if you have somebody like your girlfriend or cat or something sleeping next to you, it would actually be pretty loud, even when it was on like the lowest setting. Loud enough to wake somebody up. But ever since one of the updates, it's become way lower. But by far, one of the biggest updates is that if you're a PlayStation Plus Premium member, you can actually cloud stream games with your Portal, making it a semi-standalone console now. I've even heard stories of how some people bought it just to use it as a standalone console because of this update. Although, personally, I don't think I would ever do that. I mean, if I didn't have a PS5, I can't imagine buying this and paying extra money for premium just to hope that it works with whatever Wi-Fi I have. Now, is the Portal worth it? Well, that all depends on your circumstances. I personally bought it for myself as a birthday gift, and my girlfriend also happens to own her own PS5, so I'll typically use my Portal to play the games I have saved on her console, or my own. Although, sometimes things like this tend to happen.
Was using my Portal to play a game I left at my girlfriend's house when this happened.
I don't know if I would call this getting ready, because, this doesn't really look like a shower to me that you're doing. But, yeah, here, let me just help you. I'll just help you along. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now you can get ready.
There have also been other times where I've used my portal to essentially watch her play through games and help her, which is a fun way for us to spend time together. I also think the portal is great for playing turn-based games like Persona or Metaphor. At this point, I use the portal more than I use my actual PS5 the regular way. Like, damn near all the time. I don't think I'll ever go back to just playing my PS5 again, really, unless it's an online game. There are points where I play it while I'm at my girlfriend's house or hotel rooms and still have access to the PS5. And then even when I'm home, it's not like I want to take up the TV with it, especially when I'm playing games where you have to grind. Not to mention, it's got a pretty great battery life. Well, depending on what your settings are. For me, it's about 6 or 7 hours, but I've got a grip over it, so I've turned off the lights along the sides. And I usually keep my brightness pretty low. And I also turned off the light on the mute button, because I only play single-player games anyway. What do I need the mute button for? So I've generally got no complaints when it comes to battery life, and it takes about roughly 2 hours for it to fully charge. Again, I don't think I'm ever going back to my PS5 the regular way. Not unless it's a game like Kingdom Hearts 4 or something. Now, would I recommend the portal to anyone else? Honestly, not really. As much as I love the portal, being the huge Sony fanboy that I am, and I freaking love the portal, I can't say I can confidently recommend it to people for that $200 price tag. It basically does what the Switch does, but a little bit worse. And something that I'm really hoping that they change later on down the line is somehow letting you watch streaming apps from the portal. It just feels like a wasted opportunity to not have that. But, and hear me out here, with how well the sales for the portal did, it showed Sony that there's actually interest in the portable market again. And supposedly, they're developing an actual new standalone handheld console, maybe something like the successor to the PSP and the Vita. And realistically, I think that would be a better investment to just hold out for that. But again, this is all situational. If you have good internet and a TV that you're sharing with other people to the point where you can't use your console, then go ahead and get the portal. But what do you guys think? For any other portal owners, do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree? What's your experience with the portal? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. And if you liked this video and want to see more like it, tap that subscribe button and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.